Okay, so it's like a little after 2, but I've been up for a while, but I don't feel tired. I don't, I just was awake and I kept thinking I had some things I wanted to talk about. Um, so yesterday I went out to go run errands, and the ground's all wet. And I think there is something that is slippery for sure, but it's also in the water, like the faucet water. Because like when I wash the dishes, like my hair is being so fucking weird. I just washed it, like not yesterday. I was busy all yesterday. The day before though, in the afternoon. And, you know, I mean, there for a while I was going like fucking weeks. And now it's like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? But it's not like natural, it's artificial. When I wash the dishes, I feel something slimy. So I know, I just feel certain our water is tampered with, but I've felt that way for a long while. And then when you wash it, I don't know. It's like you're putting some kind of slime or something into your hair. So it just keeps getting like dirty, right? I don't know. Is it ever even clean? It doesn't feel clean when I get out of the shower. It feels like it's still dirty. You have to get out of the shower and put dry shampoo in it. So, I don't know. Something's up with that for sure. And it was kind of sunny. When I drove down, and you get out into the open, to the valleys, it was weird. Like for so many times, I would think the mountains look like backdrops, but this time was the clouds, and it looked like the sphere. I swear to God, it looked like the clouds were on the ground going up around, and there's mountains, but the clouds were going down over the mountains. And we keep having a lot of fog and stuff, but there was some parts of it that were so fucking wild looking. I wanted to pull over and get footage, but it's like, you know, it's always pointless. I mean, it never shows what you see. But I'll explain a little bit of this one, because it looked like it was going up the sides from the ground, like we were in the sphere, and it was multiple layers going out and going up, and then there was this light coming through, but it would shine in weird places. The whole thing looked crazy. It looked otherworldly, like I keep saying, and it's weird. It just weirds me out how people just keep accepting things. Like I just saw this lady talking about Trader Joe's, and she was talking about, you know, have you ever wondered why it's so crowded and why the parking lot's so crowded, blah, blah, blah. Well, my husband did a study on it, and it was all set up that way. Like they set it up so you feel crowded and pressured for some reason, even in the parking lot. And it's to add to the, you know, everybody wants to be there, I guess, kind of concept or something. I don't know. They purposely choose locations where they have limited parking spaces, all sorts of weird stuff. But then the woman was like, but I just love Trader Joe's. I was like, this is what's wrong with the world. Like, they just, you know, just accept whatever corporations do and say, well, I just love them. Everybody's so artificial and shallow. It just is just fucking disturbing, man. And so I went to the grocery store I always go to because I love grocery outlet. And so I went in there, which they didn't have my other mushroom stuff, but they had lion's mane. So I got the lion's mane. And it's just sitting there waiting for me. Like I just put in the order. Okay, I want lion's mane when I get there. And then it's just sitting there. Like this was, so that toaster oven thing. So, I think it was a TikTok or something I had seen of somebody was making a sandwich or something, and they were heating it up in the toaster oven. I was like, oh, a toaster oven. I hadn't thought about that. Toaster oven. I wonder, like, I bet you I could cook cookies in a toaster oven. Like, I don't know what all I could cook in one. So I go and I look, like searched toaster oven recipes. And then I saw these fancy new toaster ovens, like they're a whole new level. It's like a 3-in-1 kind of thing. So it does, you can bake, broil, like it has other things you can do. And it's much bigger. And so I went to look up how much they were. And on TikTok, they have one for sale because they've got everything for sale. It's just a sales app. That's all fucking is. And then, I mean, pretty soon I'm sure they're going to have videos or something. Who knows? Well, they got those ones. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's their gimmick. Because people are complaining about stuff with Prime now, too. Because they're not getting their packages out in time. You pay this fee so you get your packages. And, you know, I made some, like, yeah, stuff doesn't come in 2 days all the time, that's for sure. But, you know, still, it's free shipping. And then you get movies if you want to watch movies. But I don't know. TikTok is funky. But anyway, so they have one for sale. I don't know how much theirs was. I think it was $130 or something. So I went and looked on Amazon. And then I saw, like, there was a range, like $120, $150, $220. Like, they were all different prices. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to check the thrift store. So I put in my order. I pictured what I wanted. I pictured where I wanted it. And then I let it go. And so then I drive past the thrift store to get to the grocery store. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to stop in and, you know, get my toaster oven. And I go walking in and go walking back to the kitchen part. And there it was, just sitting there, exactly what I ordered. And I picked it up and took it up front. It was 35 bucks. And on my little list thing, I had written 20 bucks. But I'm positive when I wrote 20, I heard 35. And so when I saw it, it was just sitting right there, like it was waiting for me. And so I looked to see if there was any other ones, and there wasn't. There was an old-fashioned toaster oven. I was like, okay, well, I'm supposed to be 35. It'll be fine. And, you know, when it supposedly is all checked and everything. And they said I could return it if it doesn't work. But this is always how manifestation works to me. It just always has. You just, you put it into your mind what you want. And I've done this so many times, even where I wanted it. Even with this house thing that trips me up, is the neighborhood in Spokane I was looking at that I really wanted to get a place in. This is the same name as the neighborhood there. And it's the same setup as the house that I was, you know, jonesing over in this neighborhood. Same kind of setup here. So it was like, I'm telling you, you put in your order. I don't get how other people live. Like, it really trips me out. Because, I don't know. I just live differently. I don't know. A lot of things. Like, it's so important. Oh, man, I don't even know how to explain. It's just so important. Like, all the work you got to do is right in here. Everything you need to know is inside of you. And but I don't know. But people just don't see their own value. They don't see their own abilities. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. So and then I had the drive was weird when I went into the grocery store. So when I went in the grocery store, my regular one, everything was so much more expensive. Like, there's so much, even in the vegetables and stuff, where things are just look rotten. Things just don't look, you know, they just look like, Jesus, this clearing my throat all the time. I don't know, there's just something weird. Like, everything just looks like we're running out. Like, not running out, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, you know how I said, like, the oven broke, the dryer broke, but the oven broke in a weird way. It doesn't make sense. Like, the code doesn't match what it, like, there's weird shit. The dryer, I have my heater on right now. It'll blow out warm air for a while, but then it will change to cold. And then it'll start a fire or whatever. I just didn't want to start a fire yet. Oh my God. So, anyways, it was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe how expensive everything was. It just seemed like everything seemed more expensive, and it seemed weird. It was all crowded with people stocking shelves, like they were just blocking all the ways and stuff. It was weird. The whole thing seemed weird. There was a lot of people in there. I don't know. And then when I went up to the front, I even asked the girl, doesn't it seem weird? Doesn't things seem weird right now? And she just looks at me just completely empty, and just like, no. I was just like, okay, good to get a feel for like where people are at. Just oblivious. And I came home and I just had one strange encounter after another. And I got all my stuff done. It takes so long to go out and to go to town and do your shopping. And it just takes so long. And so I got back, and then you have to unload everything, put everything away. Turned on music, and then I hadn't eaten, so I had to make some food. And then, I was getting into the music and just enjoying the music and dancing and singing and having fun. And I had a few different messages. My one daughter is, she's having some health things, and she's got it coming from all angles about the parasite cleanse. And so, last night she was being like, Mom, I'm so overwhelmed right now. It's like, you just got to try, you just got to do it. You'll feel better. You'll see. It's like a cheap, and then when people go look it up, there's a whole thing, because there's, like, you can buy kits and stuff. I've never bought any of those kits. To me, it's the same thing I told them, is getting these different herbs and roots and all this stuff that naturally gets this stuff out of your body, like kombucha. Kombucha naturally builds up the good bacteria in your system, so it conquers the bad bacteria in your intestines, so that it goes back into balance, because everybody's system is overrun by the bad bacteria, and that's why they have so many issues. And so, like, things like that, like kombucha, which I started making that years and years and years ago. And I started drinking it when I was getting off the pharmaceuticals, I think. And I had colitis. I probably had Hep C too. I was sick as fuck. And I started drinking kombucha. I was drinking the shit out of it to where it was so expensive that I started making it. And so I've been drinking it for a long ass time. And and then now switching off of all the teas and all these different roots. And God, this dog with his gas. Fuck. Man, he's got a fart problem. Then the tea with all the different powders. There's a bunch of these powders and leaves and stuff that naturally get the toxins out of your body. Or, I don't know, because it doesn't necessarily get them out. It, like, defeats them or something. But then supposedly you still need these carrier agents to get all the toxins out, like clove powder, charcoal powder. And so, hearing that, I have charcoal, so I'll take a charcoal pill, and then I will feel so much better. And so it, like, will kill all of the rotten stuff inside your body when you take these roots and all that stuff. And so then, but you can build up toxins, so you gotta get them out of you. Oh my God, I might have to just light some incense or something. This dog has got, like, oh my God, it's bad. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Stella has never been, like, had that kind of intense gassy stomach like some of these dogs. And I don't know if it's because she's been on natural food for her whole life. But oh my gosh, dang. This dog has got that power farting that just reeks out the room of just the most heinous smell of, I don't even know. But, but anyways, So, I was having a, good time dancing and singing and talked to my daughter, talked to my mom, and my mom was talking about something. And I swear to God, this is something that it was one of the things I kept thinking about too during the night. I was like, okay, I gotta talk about this. And it's one of those things too, it's like, you know, some of the things is like, how do you say them without just sounding whiny and bitchy, but to also make a point of certain things? Because I don't know, there's a lot of things that my mom does or says to me that it's always like, fuck, I don't want to act like this to my kids. Man, I've got to make sure I don't talk to my kids like this. Fuck. It's like, there's been through my life is like, she is a pole that I bounce away, like, oh, I don't want to be like that. Oh, I don't want to be like that. Oh, I don't want to be like that, all the time. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, I was thinking back, I was thinking, man, that has been that way for so long, since I was young. And then you start thinking about, your mom and your dad and that energy and stuff. And like I said, my dad had this totally toxic side of himself. I mean, he was a perv, he was selfish, he was a gangster, he was fucking drunk all the time. But he had this part of him that was just so fun and happy. And, it was like, I wish I could have always had that dad. But anybody who's an alcoholic, their moods, I mean, most evenings ended with him crying and putting on his country music, and then he would put on that old country music. And then he'd sit there crying about how hard his life was. I mean, him and my stepmom, I mean, every night ended in a drama with them because they were both drunk. I mean, almost every night ended in drama my whole life, even with my mom. And I just don't know if it was just a part of my mom's thing. It was just the kids that she had with him. She just was kind of like, ugh, I just don't really like him that much. They're too much like him or something. I don't know. Maybe she looks at us and she sees, I don't know. Because I don't think she's aware of this part of herself. I think if you were talking to her, she's like, oh, I love my kids. Oh, they're so smart. They're so this, they're so that. But she just doesn't know how she comes across. She doesn't know. Like, so many people have no awareness of their own behavior. And especially if you're unhealed, you're on autopilot. You're not thinking about other people's feelings and shit. And so, and it just will blow me away, too. It's like, I'm motherfucking 62 years old, mother. Like, what in the hell? Where do you think that you need to talk to me like it's wild? And so, this weird thing, because there's been, a lot. But, she's always been, I don't know, like I've said before, in my childhood, like, there just isn't a lot of memories that are good. There just isn't. I mean, there just isn't of her. Most of the time that I ever interacted with her, she was angry. She would slap me. She would always talk down to me. She always showed her disdain, and it just was not someone you could like really bond with. She was always giving me this like, I don't want to be like her. I don't want to be like her. I don't want to be like her. And, I know that is part of a soul's thing. I mean, maybe my kids are always doing that about me. Like, oh God, I don't want to be like her. Like, I don't know. It's probably, a part of growing or something. It's part of what we all like. If we're the same gender as the parent, maybe it's always like, well, I don't want to be like them. And it's crazy too, is because I would marry alcoholics, but they would always have this personality that was very controlling. Like, my dad wasn't like that. I mean, he may have been like that to her. I mean, he was, I had to get a job when I was 10. He made me start working. He was bossy like that. But it was different. It seemed more like, like he was trying to do something good for you. Like he was trying to teach you something, teach you a work ethic, I don't know. There was something different with his. Hers was always like, was, you know, do this to make her happy or something. It was different. And I don't, you know, and I know, you know, she was a kid and she didn't, you know, she didn't ever get to grow up or whatever. I mean, she got to grow up later in her life. But when she was a mom to us, and maybe it's always been because she's close in my age, that there's a competition or something. I don't know. But, you know, like the interaction when I was having like one of the worst times of my life when I got served again. And I was like rock bottom at that point when California, like it was a bad way. And I call my mom crying. And, you know, she decides to tell me, you know, what's wrong with me is that she took an abortion pill. And, you know, now that's what's wrong with me. It's like, I'm sad. I'm upset. I'm having a hard time. Like, bad things are happening in my life right now. It's like there's never compassion. There's never empathy towards me. And, you know, I don't know where it all comes from. And, but, you know, it was just drove it home again last night in a conversation. She was talking about something, and, you know, old Jackaroo, he's always just wild. And it was, he was going wild with the biting. And Stella was doing so good. Oh my gosh. It was just miraculous. I came home yesterday. Like she was not wanting to get up. She was not feeling good. And then I knew she was having a temperature too. And this is something that I've learned through this holistic stuff too, is that when our body raises its temperature, it's its natural reaction. So it kills what's inside. When we run and get on antibiotics, that interferes. And when we take Tylenol and all that stuff, it interferes with the body's natural process because the body is doing its own natural way of getting rid of the bugs itself. And so, but then see how they interfere. They tell you, oh, you're not supposed to have a temperature. You got to take Tylenol. Oh, you're not supposed to do that. You're going to have a seizure. Oh, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And anything that's supposed to happen, you know, is supposed to happen. But we're supposed to let our bodies naturally fight against the bacteria and stuff. And so I knew she was going through that process. And I was doing all natural stuff. Like I was putting the honey on there. I put tons of honey on there. I put tons of castor oil. I made up my own because I've got all these different herbs that I'm infusing. I've got cumin seed oil, which I'm not sure if that would be considered black seed oil, but I think it's like similar because anyways, I was trying to look it up before, but anyways, I had cumin seeds, so I made an infusion of that with oil, and then oregano, rosemary, lavender. I made a good one with chili pepper, or hot pepper one. It seems like there's another one too. I don't remember, but anyways, you know, they all have different benefits. And so I made a little mix of stuff to put on hers, on her different places, like back where her back was hurting and stuff. So anyways, I go to the store and I come back and she was outside sitting on the porch because I was gone for a long time. And then she got so excited and she's running out, and then it was sunny, so I took him for a walk and stuff, and she was just doing so good. She was doing great. And she was outside running around, playing, just like, you know, she was over it. She's not sick anymore. Her wound is way better. It looks so much better. It's like, oh my gosh. And then, so she was doing great. And then Jack, he just goes wild, probably because he had to be in the crate so long, because I was at the store. So then he was wild, full of energy. And when he gets full of energy, he just bites and bites and bites and bites and bites and bites. I've never had a dog bite so much. Usually you can tell a dog, you know, to stop doing it and it will stop. And he does not. You tell him to stop and he will run up and bite you. And I have tried all these different things. Try the water. Well, then he turns it into a game and he gets wilder. The magazine, like when I hit the magazine on my hand, that, even if you smack his nose, and then you just feel like an abuser because it doesn't help, it doesn't do anything. Then the magazine, slap it. I've slapped him on the butt with it even. And he's terrorized by this magazine. And it doesn't, you know, it's very, I mean, it's not very, it's the noise. They don't like the noise. Because I used to be able to, if Stella was ever out of control, it's this little magazine book too that I would use, is it'd smack it on my hand. She'd hate that sound and she would stop. You know, okay, I'll stop. Not him. He'll be terrorized. He'll be hiding like, oh my God, what are you doing? He'll like turning his head like he's so scared. And then he would set it down and turns around, runs over, tries to bite you, runs over, jumps on her, started biting her. It's like, what in the hell? Oh, it's so frustrating. And then, you know, I have to give him timeouts all the time. It's the only way Stella can even get a nap is for him to have a timeout. And she takes naps. She rests throughout the day. And so he'll just won't stop biting. So I'll have to put him in his, you know, give him a timeout when he goes wild. And then I have my treats. And every time he's doing something good, like if he's being wild, and I'll get him to calm down, and I was like, oh, good boy. You know, I'll try and tell him to be gentle, be loving, give 2 kisses. And sort of like he's feral or something. He was like put outside and just out of control and never knew, never, you know, the first time he ever was like came in a house or something, even though she said, well, he hasn't pooped in the house in a long time in our house, so he's not doing any potty in the house anymore. But I just don't think he was in that. I don't think he had very much people interaction. He does not show that he has. He doesn't, I mean, you start petting him and he like melts like you've never felt someone pet him before. It's like, but yeah, you know, I can see he's irritating. Like I can totally get like why somebody would be like, okay, go outside. I mean, you're just wild. You don't listen, which I know for sure. I just feel so certain. There's a certain energy, because I'd even seen something about, because the new movie on Netflix. All these people are sharing it because who knew Obama made movies too? And puts them on Netflix. Well, he's part of Netflix, so. And it shows, you know, probably what's going to happen. It's the same shit that they keep showing in these movies of the end of their thing. And this electricity thing shorting out. And it is said about that these things are going to stop working. We're going to stop. Things aren't going to be working. Where I was like, oh, see, that's why I think like the oven, that all these things are going to start glitching. Even when I went in the car again yesterday, my phone wouldn't attach to the car. It went for a minute and played my music, and then it just goes off, and it won't attach the Bluetooth thing. And so it won't play my music, so I have to listen to the radio. And I'm listening to the radio, and it's doing this glitch again. It'll keep going backwards. It'll keep skipping back on the song. It's like so weird. And I said, there's all these glitchy things happening. I swear to God, the sky is coming down around us. It's weird. And in the movie thing, it says that the planes are going to fall out of the sky. All this electronics are going to keep glitching. Our phone's going to keep glitching. It's all going to keep glitching until it all goes down. And then you know, who knows how it's all going to play out. Like, I mean, I can see like overall things. I can't see each little moment by moment. So there's a lot of these moments that are just like, dang, man. Like I can't even believe it. Like in New York and California, to me, these states are telling you to move away, 100%. These states are, it's like, we are the worst people in the whole wide world, and you're going to live here. You're going to be under our rule. To me, that is such a sign of like, my nose is dripping, that you got to move away from there. And now they're going to charge you to drive on the roads. They can come into your house and arrest you and take you to a camp. And if they feel like if you're sick, I mean, they can just use it. They can just say whatever they want and come in and and that's against your rights. But you're going to stay in their zone where they say, hey, we're going to do this and you're going to stay there, they're going to do it. And California, same wacky shit going on over in California, just whacked out shit. And Newsom, now he's running for president or something. It's like, this guy is not leaving the stage. This guy's going down, and his drunk aunt's going with him. These people are, so fucking corrupt. And let me think, because I'm all over the place. Okay, so I want to go back to my mom's thing. So I'm taking him out. I take him on walks. I've worked with him and worked with him, taking him, because I take them both together, and he's doing so good. And he can follow, he went over and figured out, like, the bells by watching. I've showed him, but, watching, and then he's gone over and he'll delicately hit the bell like this. I'm like, yes. And he'll sit and he'll have manners, and he hasn't mastered laying yet. He'll put his paw up, and I keep telling him, oh, shake, shake. So he's, he can go get things. Like, we've been working on fetch, and, he likes to run and play things like that. But he just has a part where he just gets out of control, where he just can't think. He can't slow down. He can't stop. He just starts going crazy, and you try and get control of him, and he'll start jumping across the furniture like crazy. He'll jump across. Like, I've seen him do jumps that are whack, man. And he'll jump, and he's always trying to land on me or Stella too. And then he's always got to bite. He gets so excited. He's just got to bite. It's like, dude, Jesus fucking Christ. And so whatever. My mom is messaging me and talking of whatever she's gonna talk about. It's valid, if it's her health or whatever she's got going on. And, and she'll be looking for empathy or information or something like that. And she always has this way of talking down to me. And what always gets me too, on top of it, is I know that she does not talk to my sister the way she talks to me. Not the sister that comes from the same dad, the younger one, the special child. The one that was the gift from God for her, the one that she started living through. It was like, it ended her marriage and stuff. Like, it was very, it destroyed that girl's relationship with her dad. There's just a lot of things, I could see. But you can't tell people. They don't see their own stuff. You try and tell them, and then certain people become super defensive. They do not want to hear it. And so whatever it was, I was just threw in there like something about, because I had sent out a video showing Stella and how good she was doing. I just really had to champion her for how well she was doing. Like, she fought another illness, and she did it with all natural, not going to the vet. We've spent so many thousands of dollars on the vet, and they've not done anything to help. She's gotten so much more help by doing all this natural stuff. And so, they'll just keep you coming back. Try this. Well, how about if I just try her body, letting her, naturally heal? Like, we're not having to run around to deers and shit like that. Like, animals get sick. I don't even know if I told y'all about this one that I saw. This blew my motherfucking mind. It was disturbing. It's a disturbing image you can't get out of your head, too. And it was like some forest cam or something, wherever they monitor shit, I guess. I don't know. Some camera thing out in the woods, and it got this deer that was walking through. It was like not a deer. It was like one of those with a big, it wasn't an elk, it was a buck. So it had big horn things, and it was walking through the forest, and like you could hear it, but then you heard like this other weird noise. And then when it walks through the frame, you see why. Oh my gosh. And they said probably a bear attack, but it was like from his neck. So his head was intact. His head and his neck were intact. And the sides of him and the back, but it was like the whole top of him was gone. It was just ripped off. Like all of it, the skin was ripped off of the top of him. And so everything inside of him was exposed. You could see all his insides as he was walking. And oh, the sound of hearing it, like it's separating and coming back. Oh, God, it's really, because you just see the woods and you hear a sound coming. And then all of a sudden it walks into frame. I don't know. This could be CGI somebody did just to, sometimes I feel like that people are just creating these disturbing photos and disturbing stuff. I don't know. But to me, it just made me think like, you know, I mean, this guy's out walking around. He's not dying or anything. He probably just has to heal. It's somehow a wound, you know, scar tissue will build over, something else will fill in, and he'll have a scar tissue there. And, you know, and maybe it affects his health, and if he's weak, he would die. That's the way that it works. You know, you're weak, and that's what the parasites do. And I think the parasites do have something to do with the link with the black energy. It's almost like a microphone in people's minds because they're so eaten up with dark energy. It's trippy. So, anyways, I had another dog. I had a dog who always wanted to lay out on the back porch. He never wanted to come in. He always wanted to sleep outside. And he wasn't huge. And he got a side of him ripped one night. And I took him to the vet and stuff. And they said it was probably a coyote attack. And so it was just like a hole ripped out of him. And I was like, well, what do you do? And they go, oh, it will fix itself. And so when I saw that deer, that's why I was thinking, oh, it'll just fix itself. So, you know, they don't go in and do skin grafts and stitch it and pull it in tight and stuff. It just seals itself back up. And his did. It was fine. He lived years and years and years longer. And probably, though, you know, gave him antibiotic and stuff. I'm sure we got that at the vet. With her, I was using natural antibiotics and stuff like honey, and also castor oil has a lot of that kind of stuff in it, antimicrobial and all that. So all those things do what, you know, they're trying to, I don't know, there's a lot, everything that they try and do is just trying to copy nature. So nature does all this stuff naturally. They don't want us to go with the nature part because then they make money off of us the other way. So they want us to go with theirs. But anyway, so the dog, I sent this video and they were both laying in the bed next to each other. And so my mom had answered back and was like, oh, she was so excited. And then she started talking about something. And it was somehow I had said something about, you know, oh, Jack, boy, he just wears me out. That guy, he's a challenge or something, whatever I said. And it's always like, she cannot ever have empathy and go, oh, yeah, I know, it's hard. Like, I sit there talking to my one daughter. She starts sending me things off Amazon. Oh, try this. Talk to the neighbor. And she's like, oh, try this. My daughter got one of these intelligent balls where they have to try and get their treats out. So I got him one of those weeks ago. And he just tries to break it. He breaks it over and over and over to get his treats out. And, but I got him one of those. My daughter sent me some more things. Oh, well, you know, high energy, smart dogs, try this, try this. And so I keep trying all these different things. But when I talk to my mom, it's like, you know, I'm doing something wrong all the time. Well, you gotta be working with him. You need to work with him every day. You've got to be training him. I am doing that. Oh, well, you need to do this. Caesar says, you know, you need to use your crate. And I'm like, I do use the crate. He goes in timeout all the time. I'm glad to know that the dog trainer says that because I'm like, man, am I, is it being mean? And because I've also heard the other thing, don't use your dog crate to punish them. And it's not like, I mean, it is kind of a punishment. It's a timeout. It's like, you got to go in and sit down and calm down. You can't be out here jumping on us and running all around and biting us. And and so many times, like, I'll give him a chance. He can come out. Oh, God, his barking is too much. Like, he's getting even with me. You know, and so anyways, I appreciated the information that this well-known dog trainer says, you know, use your crate when you're trying to train your dogs. He loves using the crate. And so I was like, okay, well, that's good, because I was just doing that anyways. And what gets me too is I went to dog training class for a year with one dog, and then I got Stella and went with her for like another year. I've gone to so much dog training classes. My mom hasn't, I don't think she's ever been to one. And not only that, I watched, it's the dog, it's me or the dog. I love that dog trainer. And she went a lot with the training I was learning at the school. And I do have giant dogs. Lucy was giant, and Stella is giant. And so I've taken the training seriously. You know, you can't have a giant dog that's out of control. And so, you know, and the things that I did with Stella don't work on him. Standing up and becoming bigger. He was like, if something scares him or whatever, he goes crazier. And so, I mean, he's a whole new challenge, you know, but you can't be like, oh yeah, it's hard. It's right away. I'm doing it wrong. I need to do this. I need to do that. And she always gets this really talking down to me tone. Even in her texting, you can tell. Like, I know her way too well. I know how she's saying it. And then it's like, well, you need to do this. And it's like, I said, because she's telling me, oh, well, tell me what I need to do. And then I said, it can be, it's not like that. It can be, I get up and go to the bathroom, and as soon as I'm not looking, he jumps up and does like, oh, now I'm going to do it. He'll run over and start biting Stella. I'll be in there peeing, and I'll hear Stella out here crying and yelping. And so I'll come out and then tell him, and then that's when he starts jumping and biting us and stuff. And so, oh no, he can't do that. I'm sitting here from the motherfucking beginning of this conversation trying to say what I'm working on. And you've got to do this. You got to do that. That is when I do it. So then I send out an audio. I was like, Mother, that is when I do it. I try to explain, like, you're trying to tell me, like, you have no idea what the scenario is. But always in her mind, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. It blows my mind. It was like, I don't know. I mean, it's plus, and two, when you know, things that your mom says about your siblings or whatever, it's like, okay, well, she obviously thinks, the same. I mean, she thinks that about us all. That we're all. I don't know. It's like I said, if you ask her, she would say, "Oh, she's so lucky. She's got great kids." But then when you talk to her, the way she treats you is like you're a complete moron. And so I was like, Mother, you don't understand this scenario. He starts doing that, and that is when I do get him and put him in the crate. But it turns into a giant thing. I have to fucking chase him and stuff. You don't understand. And so then she comes back with some snappy thing. Oh, she comes back, well, then just get rid of him because it's a lot of work. Thanks for the support, Mother. So I just said, okay, night, love you. I was like, done with this conversation. Like every time, especially when it comes to pets, anytime, oh no. And it's like, oh my God, I go to your house where you've got these fucking cats running around, jumping on everything, all on the count, everything. You've got, oh my God, a whole fucking herd of dogs running around, no training, nothing. And you standing in the middle of the room screaming, shut up. Okay, but, tell me what I need to do when I'm out here working on, well, you need to take a leashing. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. I'm doing that. I'm doing all those things. Maybe you need to go start doing that shit. It's like, but you can't ever, that's like, it was way back when I would always be the one cooking Thanksgiving, and she'd never show up on time on anything. And I specifically, this time really stood out to me too, because it was years ago. It was when she was still married and stuff. And I specifically said, and she was supposed to bring like the snacks to have before dinner. And I said, we're going to eat like at 2, so come like at noon or something. She showed up hours late. I don't remember. Like, dinner was already done. There was like no time for snacks. It's like I'm putting dinner on the table. And we're waiting for her, we're waiting for them to get there. And then she just comes in like, and I said something to her. And it's the same thing as like, whatever it was, she'd just get mad at you. And like, how dare you? How dare you? I don't remember how that, I just remember that whole interaction was just so, like, I tried to say, well, I ask you to be here at this time. You're hours late. And then just so nonchalantly walk in like a big fucking deal and get the fuck over it. And then you say something to her, and then she gets mad at you. It's just like my whole fucking life. Anything I would do or say, just slap me. And then even, as we got older and I said about her slapping me all the time, she said, I never slapped you. Okay, quick draw McGraw. Oh my God. Fuck. And so, this is something that's been toying in my mind all night, all this different stuff of, and people don't see, like, my reality is very different than her reality of our relationship. Like, I'm sure in her mind, she's thinking, she's got these great kids, but, I'm so neurotic and crazy that, because of that abortion bill, I don't know how to handle or manage life. Even though, like, she'll turn around, she'll want me to do this, she'll want me to do that, and then she'll turn around and I'll be showing, like, all this stuff when I was doing all this work and stuff around here. Because I won't know how to do something, I'll go look it up. And I have people asking me all the time, how do you do this? How do you do that? Go look it up. And so I will look it up, and try and figure out how to do it. And so I did so much stuff. I've always done so much stuff. I've always been a go-getter. And so she would send these videos to my aunt. And my aunt would say, oh my gosh, I'm so impressed. She does so much. And then my mom would be like, oh, she says you do so much and stuff. But I kept thinking, I don't think that my mom ever says it. There's just I don't know how to explain it, but there's a weird thing, a weird interaction. And, I don't know. I mean, maybe that movie had me thinking about this stuff. And then her doing that, and that passive aggressive, because that, I felt like the scene where she's in there with the dress scene and starts ridiculing the daughter, I felt like, that seemed kind of like the passive aggressive way my mom was, like this, I don't know. It's just strange, especially strange, in her 62 years, I'm 62 years old. I've got grandchildren, and I've had lots of pets. I've gone to dog training and stuff, and you talk down to me all the time, like I'm a moron. And then when I say I do all that, well, then just get rid of it. It's a lot of work. It's going to be 2 years at least. Okay, well, thanks for that. Boy, you're a real go-getter. You're a real uplift, and that's where I'm like, okay, I am not, it makes me always aware. Like, I don't want to talk to my kids this way. I want to be more of a listen, not jump in, not throw in my hateful, especially not act like you can't figure shit out, and then never have a solution. Well, her solution is, I need to watch Cesar and work on my training. never has any empathy or compassion for like, oh, she's probably doing that and it's very challenging, or she wouldn't be complaining about it. And so, you know, here's another idea. Try this or try that. No, it's always the same motherfucking thing. And then it's always, if I say, well, I've done that. Okay, well, there's nothing left. Just, it's like, okay, well, fuck, man. She would have no idea what I'm going. I mean, she just would never, never. I don't know. I don't know that she would put her. I mean, this is, you know, if she ends up hearing this and stuff, you know, I mean, it's kind of sad. I don't think that she would put herself out. Like for, I mean, maybe she does for her friends, her church friends or something, because she's trying to make sure that she's a good person to them. But, you know, I don't know. If, you know, one of my kids said, hey, I'm down and out, I need to come and live with you, I think she would be like, well, you know, there's not really any room. You know, I don't know. I don't know. There's just a lot of different things. You know, I mean, there was something that she had one time that I wanted, and she sold it to me for $10. And I just always was like, that was weird. You know, I had some new furniture, and I had 4 daughters. And my one daughter wanted the furniture when I was gonna, and I did sell it to her for really cheap. But it was kind of like, well, how do I just give it to her? I can't just give her all this stuff. You know, got brand new couch and stuff that I don't want, so I'll just give it to her. It's like I couldn't just pick favors, but I would never charge her a bunch. But it would always be, well, she bought it, she wanted it, and then plus it would make her like, you know, she gets a whole new couch set for $125, you know, leather couch and love seat, you know, whatever stuff, or if it was, there's lots of stuff I've given her too. But anyways, I have done that. But this one thing, it was like just this wooden thing that her husband had made to hang a coat rack thing. And then I said, well, I would take that for my kids. I could use that in their room. And she's like, okay, well, I'll sell it to you for $10. I was like, okay. So, anyways, there was just those little things always kind of gave me a distance with my mom, but there was always distance my whole life. There was never a closeness, and she was always, you know, I don't know, an enigma or something. Like, and then it's just weird in these interactions. You know, I thought we made a lot of progress in 2020 because, you know, I thought we were both awake. Like, she was a lot more receptive to the stuff I was saying. But now she's way more of a, Jesus is coming, the rapture's coming. She doesn't really, you know, I don't even think she thinks that the real Joe, I think she may think that's the real Joe or something. I'm not sure, she's so caught up in all that stuff. And everything I say is, well, I hope so. Well, I doubt. And she just assured the tribulation's coming. She's going to rapture. This is all bullshit. Nothing good's going to happen. So we don't really have anything in common on that stuff. But when she did send that message about that she was going to say something because her friend had a STROKE, and she had to take her to the ER. And then when she was messaging me, and she ended up sending it to the friend by accident, but she also realized, like, God works in mysterious ways. Yes, it does. I always think of it as the universe, but most people think of it as God. So you gotta just be like, okay, God. But you know, the universe is bigger. It's not like just this person who's out there, this God figure. It's like, it's bigger than that. It's different. And so she, let me think. Something came out of my head. Because the God figure. Oh yeah. So the message that she had sent, because I don't know if this was the exact message, but so she went through the list of all these people. I mean, I didn't even know my aunt had breast cancer. Like, all these, I knew my brother had the brain one. And I didn't know my aunt has breast. And then all these different friends of hers, they all have heart issues, strokes. So everybody's got cancer. Everybody has got these things. They've got all sorts of ailments. And, you know, my one daughter keeps messaging me about her health stuff. You know, she's got all these and she's got all these fucking ailments. And so I've been telling her, do these cleanses, do these cleanses. And she keeps, oh, now that like I'm psycho or something. Like, I think in her media, like, they make fun of, like, I don't know, they use Joe Rogan as being crazy and Trump is being, like, I don't know. I have no idea how they get so stuck on this. No way, that's so stupid, that's so weird. And so now my other daughter has started doing parasite cleanse. She sent my one daughter, because, you know, they've gone down these rabbit holes now. Because even the one daughter who is sick, she said, I went down a rabbit hole on this parasite stuff. And so now I'm really freaked out and I'm really overwhelmed. I'm like, you just gotta just do these natural things. You'll see, you'll start feeling better. And, you know, it's all parasite stuff. It's all toxins and shit. And so she's got, you know, health things too. I don't know what all. I mean, it stresses me the fuck out. And all you can do is keep telling her to do these cleanses and stuff. And then my mom had gone down this whole list of all these people, and they all have all these different problems, And I think that is what she had sent to her friend, because everybody just keeps saying, oh, well, that's part of getting older. All of them, all the people who have these issues, they just, you know, oh, that's part of getting older. Okay, well, then why isn't it happening to every single person who's getting older? Like, I'm not sick. Well, I mean, it sounds sick. I mean, I know I'm sick, but it's, you know, allergy. It's toxins. It's poisoning. That is the sick. It's, I don't temperature and stuff. I've got my body's reacting to the environment, to the toxins. My nose is running, trying to get stuff out. My throat, coughing, trying to get stuff out. Your body's trying to get the toxins and shit out. So it's reacting, and it will have immune responses. You can look up about what your body does. And then, you know, they label it as allergies and get people to discredit, you know, like, oh, it's no big deal. It's allergies. It's seasonal. Okay, so it's just, you know, all year long now and year after year as we spray this and we're fogged in every night. So, but yeah, nothing to worry about. I just know it's long-term poisoning of us. And, this was another thing too in the Obama movie, on the new movie on Netflix for the end of the world, is they talk about the frequency, and they even do a sound. The clip that I saw, because I haven't seen the movie. I mean, I don't have Netflix. My brother does though. He'll take movies off Netflix and put them on, or they're just downloadable. I don't know, but he'll put them on his Plex. He has a huge Plex library. And so if it goes on there, I might go on there and watch it. It might be on there today. I'll have to see. But he never did put the clone, the clone movie on there. But then I heard a bunch of different things about that. You know, I think people who are new to cloning, it might have been like really eye-opening. But I think people who know cloning is real, that it was like, it was nothing. So, and there's so much more coming out with the cloning stuff. But yeah, they've got the cloning, like it's as creepy as you can imagine. This sub world that lives in the shadows, and that we all just bounce around. But in the little clip that I had seen of the movie, they have a frequency sound, and it was like what these people can hear. And that is the sound that I hear all day, every day. I think since I was a little kid, I've been able to hear this sound where it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's just electricity, but I can definitely hear something. Like if it is electricity, if it's but I hear it all day long, all day long, all night long. It's like right now, it's just all the time. And then I can hear it when it will turn up or it will change. Like I can hear, because this is like a tone. It's just like a monotone. It's shrilly. It's horrible. I can't stand it. It's, it can drive you fucking crazy. But then other ones, higher pitched ones will come in, lower ones, heavier ones, all sorts of ones will come and hit in, and they'll hit in different places. They can hit in your brain, they can hit in your, it's weird. And so I've always been aware of these frequencies. I used to ask other kids when I was a kid, do you hear that? Do you hear that? And everybody would always say no. One time I was talking to a son-in-law kind of relationship, and I was talking about the frequency, and he said he hears frequency all the time too. And so I know some of us do, but they make something about that in the movie about, that there's people, I think, I didn't see the whole clip, but I think that they know that there's some people who can hear all these frequencies, but they're going to jack them up. And in this movie, the frequencies start attacking people. They use the frequency to attack people, and it can make you have headaches. It can do all sorts of things. Like, I know that's like when I get headaches and stuff. I can tell what they're doing. They're messing with frequencies or chemicals. Like all the things that happen in my body, I can tell where it's coming from. Like they can't trick me and tell me it's all coming from fucking China. No, it's coming from you motherfuckers. It's coming from right motherfucking here. And not fucking tricking me and telling me it's coming from somewhere else. No, it's y'all. And you're the ones doing it. It drives me fucking crazy how these people, they all just get focused on the GNOCIDE going on over there. It's going on over the goddamn whole fucking motherfucking planet, you dumbasses. Like, what the fuck? And they'll just sit in there crying. I mean, there's people who focus. All their fucking videos are about it. All motherfucking day long. Focus on what's going on at the strip. What's going on over in the real. What's going on in the Ukraine. It's like, it's going on. I mean, did Hawaii mean nothing to you guys? Did you all not catch on what's going on in Hawaii? And the shit going on in Hawaii still is just over the top craziness. But it was like right in your face what they're doing. They are killing indigenous people and taking their land. Corporations and their fucking puppets. These Oprah was doing some sort of fucking talk, probably on her goddamn stupid ass book, and was on some stage, and she was walking around and she was real smug and telling us, how we need to learn how to balance or something. The same thing about with her stupid ass book about, how to learn to be happy. Okay, billionaire who eats children and fucking bullshit. You tell us how to be happy? Oh, fuck off. And so she was up on her stage, smugly talking her shit, and she fell right as she was like saying something about staying on balance or something. Just totally fucking smacked down, fell. And it's like, I was almost, it was, I don't know, maybe it was this set thing, like it was always gonna happen that way. But I mean, maybe she did it on purpose. Maybe it's a fake Oprah and she did it on purpose and that's why it fell. But it seemed like karma. It seemed like the universe. It just seemed like it was just perfect. And she went smack down. And supposedly right now, the media is throwing Hunter under the bus. And but whatever, this whole thing is going to take them all down. And I did see something about what the 15th is. So the 15th, which is next Friday, when they're saying the banks are going down next Friday. So what happens on the 14th, so it's the 14th that the BRICS nation excommunicates the dollar. So the dollar, they already, from what I had understood, already had weren't being used because it was the petrodollar, because we were all up in with the Iran, Iraq, and all that stuff, and they used our dollars for the oil. Like, it's all this fucking mental bullshit. Like, okay, well, we'll use the dollar's value and then we'll make it worth it. Like, I don't even know all their shit that they do, but it's the petrodollar or something. And so that, from what I understood, that was already gone away. But this is going to be some kind of a dramatic thing on the 14th, where now the dollar has nowhere to go. So there will be no value. It'd be like the same thing that happened like to Venezuela and these other places where their money all of a sudden crashed and had no value. You know, they need 10 zillion $1 bills to make, you know, to buy a roll of toilet paper or something. And so that's what's going to happen here. And then it's supposed to also, with the World Bank, supposed to be all this stuff that's going to happen. And I saw one guy sharing all of these articles. So there is stuff being said about some of this stuff. But anyways, that's what's supposed to be. So the 14th, the BRICS nation is all going together against us or something. And that's going to be the crash. And the banks will go down. And so that will be the Friday that it all goes. That would be next Friday. We can only hope. I mean, it seems like that there's been these dates that come and go. To point yesterday, before I saw this, the videos about that, I was thinking, I wonder how many of these dates are being released by the bad guys so that they just want to beat us down. So we just give up. So we're just like, oh, it's never going to happen. So they'll put out dates. Oh, this is going to happen then. This is going to happen then. And then it doesn't happen. And then people are just going to start getting defeated. Like, no, it's never going to happen. We're never going to get out of this mess. We're stuck here forever. Because then you put yourself in that trap by thinking that way. You got to pull yourself out of the trap. Keep trying to have these conversations with people. How you got to pull yourself out of it. You have to pull yourself out of these. It's that way of looking at things. It's just, you know, if these people think it's like jumping timelines or something. No, it's changing your attitude. It's changing how you look at things. It's seeing things differently. It's crazy how many people go through their whole lives. There's a lot of old people who have not done any healing. I don't know what all stuff is going to, you know, get my... I think the religious crash thing, I mean, and I'm seeing, I mean, it's coming. It's fucking coming. It's like the medical, the government, the bank, it's all coming. Religion is, because it was put in place to control the people. And I've seen so much information about, and it's wild too, is, you know, I mean, everything should be from like the scrolls and stuff. You know, whatever our information is should be from these tablets and the oldest scrolls. And then even when you go back to that information, it's like, well, why do they skip over like hieroglyphics and cave drawings and stuff? Why do they act like, well, we're not really sure what they're saying here? When, you know, they've got these different sizes of beans, different looking beans. They've got them on cell phones. They've got them on laptops in their fucking cave drawings. But Mom, we don't know what's going on here. I just saw a video of, and this is in France, and it's on the border of someplace, so it's way out from the city, and it is a building that has been, you know, left to go to the woods. It is so fucking cool looking. It's got all these giant statues that like hold up, like, you know, like if you went to someone's house and they had a porch and they have those long straight things holding it up. I can't think what they're called, like pedestals or something, holding up their porch. Like I have those out here. It's two things holding up my roof. And but this is giant statues, like Greek god statues holding it up. It's fucking cool as shit. And then it goes way up, and the person who was doing the thing said the door is 15 feet tall, and the carving and stuff is so intricate. It's so fucking cool looking. And they were saying, for one thing, how can anybody say this is 300 years old? And for another thing, how can they say that this was made with rudimentary carving tools? I mean, there's a world that was here before us. But like I've said, that like there's been all different ages. There's resets. There's, you know, we're gonna do this for a while, and then that game ends. Okay, well, we're gonna go learn these things now. So this is gonna play out. So then there's all these lessons available. So all these people incarnate into those lessons. Then that ends, and there's a reset. And so there's been different periods of time. And that is the whole thing, like with the Tartaria. So I think the big thing about the Tartaria is that there was a time when so many different beings lived together. But it's all throughout time, because in the cave drawings, when you talk to tribes and stuff, like if it's in the Aborigines, and then also down in Mexico, when you go and talk to people who still live like in little villages as tribe kind of, however they can live. They don't, walk around in loincloths and live in trees or something. Like they may still do that in some of these places. Like they've found some tribes in like the Amazon and what's the other place? Yucatan. But in the Amazon, they've found tribes that have never seen humans or anything. But they're all around. This is different realities. Like we're not all living in the same reality. They're living their life even before all of this. I mean, the people over in the Middle East, they were living their lives. We were interfering, and people over here had no idea. And all the stuff that these people are going through, like everybody was cut off from everybody else's reality. Really, to me, it really stood out is like when you think about Syria and what Syria was going through for so long. Who even knows now? They're back burner too. But what they were going through for so long, like being bombed every day, just fighting in the streets, having to hide. I mean, now they're moved to the strip, and like they're focusing on, that's what's happening there. Well, we were just focused on Syria not too long ago. What happened in there? So, did y'all not catch that memo? Y'all think this is the first time this has ever happened? This has been going on forever. And so, but it's all these different realities. But that's where, even when I was a little kid, and they kept making a big thing about the kids in Africa. They don't have food. And I told you, like, I went and adopted one of the little kids on the Sally Struthers thing. And, but it really was standing out to me then, how different those kids' lives were than the kids' lives where I was. And it's like, it's totally different realities. It's totally different lessons. It's totally different experiences. And they have just as much validity as ours. And when the merging of these different realities happening, it is like, do you look down on these other realities? You think they have no value? Do you think yours has more value? I mean, over here with this gluttony and consumerism, and that's where you get value. That's what's just driving me so crazy recently, is the superficial, shallow side of people, and the gluttony, and this consumerism. It's really being highlighted right now. I think to many of us who have been awake for a long time, it's just like, oh my God, these holidays are really gross, man. It's just so, and then people are broke as fuck. I mean, people are broke as motherfucking shit. And they're still trying to, they've got to get their kids presents. They got to have a tree. You got to have this. You got to, why? Why? Like, it's so ingrained in people. It's so programmed. I don't see how people cannot recognize their programming. They got nothing. They're barely making it. I motherfucking saw a homeless person. It was somebody got a video walking down the streets of all the tents, and one of the tents had gone out and decorated their tent. And you can look at it in a lot of different ways, like, oh, look, nothing gets them down. Oh, that's cute. Oh, how sweet. Oh, they're trying to be cheerful. They're trying to, but to me, it's like, you're at the bottom, you're at the very bottom, and you're still like, well, we got to make sure we celebrate this Christmas. We got to get out there for Christmas. It's like, why? What is the value of Christmas? You are, you're at the point of being destitute. You don't have a place to go to the bathroom and shower. And you are still going to hang up Christmas lights. It's just wacky, man. It's wacky how it's become so. And just like the lady with Trader Joe's. Oh, I don't just like Trader Joe's so much, I'll put up with anything. It's like, but that's the whole motherfucking problem. Is all you people who just, yeah, abuse me. I don't care. As long as I can go to happy hour. I can't even tell you how many fucking videos I've seen now of people out at restaurants complaining about the food. Well, this one, these people, was it Panera? There's a lot of complaints on Panera. Panera's, I guess, I've never been to Panera, but it's really gone downhill. Really gone downhill. And but this one could have been like Jimmy John's or something. I don't know. It was some kind of place where you get sandwiches and stuff, and they bought a bunch of potato salad to go. Each meal came with a potato salad, so they showed the good potato salads. They spent $30 on these potatoes. I think it was $28 to get these potato salads. $28, and they're the, you know, like when you go to like a Safeway or whatever, one of the grocery stores where you can go back and get the stuff out of salads and stuff, and they have different size dishes. So the really small ones, and then they have bigger ones, and they have these great big ones. So all these sandwiches came with a small one, and the small little things that they spent all this money on potato salad for aren't even a third of the way full. They barely have this, like a little tiny spoonful in this whole container. And people are like pulling them out like so mad. So many people are pulling out different things. This one lady was talking about her $30 Panera sandwich and pulling it apart. Look at this. There's nothing there. And there's just tons and tons of these videos. And, you know, but that is a part of everything is going to keep falling apart. Like, and, you know, I mean, you could see it coming. I could see it coming for a long time. It's like, why are you still going out to these restaurants? Like, we've got all these issues with food. You think they're going to be giving you better stuff? You think they can afford it? Like, nobody can afford to go to the grocery store, but you think the restaurants can afford to go get better food and then mark it down for you? Like, it's wild. It's like, what does it take for you guys to catch on? What's happening? And, you know, this is all to move us into being more independent. But I saw this guy saying yesterday, you guys don't want independence. That's not what you guys want. You don't want to take care of yourselves. You want somebody to take care of you. You want somebody to feed you. You want somebody to grow your food and do everything for you. You don't want to do anything for yourself. Yeah. That's what I've been saying is, like, you have to do these things for yourself, but these people are like dependent, like on the teat of the fucking system. They're like barnacles on the ship. They don't know how to fucking survive without this shit. And then it's a part of their story just to complain about it. Well, it's not doing good enough. Well, that's not good enough. Well, that's not good enough. And there's one drama after another. Oh, and there's a scam going on. So if you go to get any gift cards, like if you're going to go buy gift cards for people, because I just transferred money. I was like, don't, like, and it's never enough, you know, because it doesn't go very far. Like, you go and try and get stuff, and it's like, the less you send less money, and it buys so much less. Like, it's crazy. Like, the same amount, you used to be able to be like, oh yeah, you could get a bunch of presents for that. Now it's like, fuck, you can get one person something. It's mental. And so then it makes you feel bad, like, well, I wish I could send more, but so anyways, if you do go and, you know, get stuff, there's a scam going on with gift cards. So when you go to the grocery store, if you get a gift card off, make sure you got to feel in the package and make sure you feel the regular size, because people are stealing all the gift cards, taking them home, they're steaming them open, they're taking the gift card out, they're cutting out the number part, and then they're putting them back in, sealing them back up, taking them back to the store, hanging them back up. And so then you buy it and purchase it. Well, they've got the thing, the number, so they can go use your number and buy stuff with the card you used. And so, I don't know, some kind of weird scam. So anyways, you gotta, a policeman was talking about it. You got to make sure when you feel the card, make sure that it feels like it's a big card in there, not that it feels smaller. They're not supposed to be smaller. And there was some other scams too I had seen. Tons and tons of phone scams. There's tons of them. Send you emails, texts, and everything. They want you to open them because then they're going to get information off your phone, get links into your stuff. There's ones, you know, they say that they've sent you a package, and They want you to go in and say, oh, they want you to look into it. I just delete, because, that's how I got scammed on Facebook. That's how my account got hacked, was opening something like that. And so, you just don't open their shit. I just delete. And, so let me think. Stella's on the move too. Let me think if there's something else. It was just really keeping me up. I mean, there's a lot more things I could say, but it's weird. It's like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings and stuff, but it's also my experience. I'm trying to talk about my experience, my reality, and I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna, say like I did. I ended the conversation with my mom and just said, "Love you." It's just like, leave. Got boundaries. I'm not gonna sit here and have a conversation. I'm not gonna defend myself. I'm not gonna have a conversation with somebody who just keeps. To me, it feels like they're ridiculing me when they keep acting like I'm incompetent and like I'm a crazy person or something. And I don't know, because if somebody is acting crazy, I will also, call them out on acting crazy. And so, and maybe I get that from my mom, just like, well, but I don't go, I don't know. It could be parts of me that are like my mom that I have no idea, we'll all see our truth. Maybe this is all coming to me, so I see, because that's what you have control over, is you. You don't have control over anybody else, but you do have to set your boundaries. When somebody is talking to you, when you don't have to get mad and yell at them and say, see, you're always acting like this. You're always such a bitch. I'm not going to go and, but that could be somebody else's process. If you've got all these issues with a parent and you've never, tried to resolve any of them. I felt like in 2020 when we were talking that, I got a lot of chances to say some things that, that she didn't know. Like, she didn't know I was insecure when I was a child. I was like, what? She thought I was just having this perfect life. Like, everything was going good. You look like a model. Everybody loves you. It's like, what? No, it was not at all my experience. I was having a very different experience than that. Okay, girl. So, anyways, I guess it's time for me to go. Are you okay? Now she's stiff. Are you okay, honey? Are you stiff, honey? Did you get stiff? My little lady. Oh, my girl. Oh. So I guess I'll go start this day. It's almost 4. It's late. Let me think if there was anything else I wanted to say. I hate when I'm going to say something like, talk about experience that I'm having, because it always seems like I'm trying to say the other person is wrong or bad or something. I'm trying to point out something different, like, for one thing, to be aware, don't, I can totally see that my mom looks at me in a certain way. I can't get caught up in it. I can't feel bad. Definitely can't look at myself like she looks at me. You have to look at yourself. You have to see yourself through your eyes. You can't look at yourself through the eyes of another, even your mom, because I would think I was the most incompetent, neurotic, crazy person in the world. No matter what I would do, it would be like, and I'm sure, again, like, she doesn't think that she comes across that way at all. She probably, if I even brought up about, I'm sure I brought it up before about the abortion pill thing, probably in 2020 when I talked to her. And, it's just like the same thing. Like, I never slapped you. What? Like, I didn't do that. I didn't. Mother, she did. And it's like, but that is a part of that denial, just like in that movie, where the mom could just keep herself cut off. But it's like people cut themselves off from their own pain, and so that they don't realize what they're doing. And that's why it's important to become into a, more awake of thinking about what you're doing, thinking about how you're acting, thinking about what you say, thinking about why you say it, being more present and in the moment and aware of your own behavior. And so anyways, and I'm not gonna turn around and say, she's a rotten person or something. I see all the people who have, nasty sides or bad characteristics or hateful things or whatever is being injured, damaged. I'm sure, when she came walking into my house, hours late for Thanksgiving and act like it was no big deal when, got kids sitting here starving, we're all sitting here waiting, and you just start like, I was so mad. And I'm sure to her, she just felt attacked, because that's the thing. You're trying to talk to people have got wounds, they just feel attacked all the time. And it's just, and somebody could turn around and say, well, you felt attacked. That's why you didn't want to talk to her. You felt attacked. Yeah. I felt like this is not a conversation that I want to be a part of. So I'm going to end it. And I'm sure I do. If somebody comes up and says something nasty to me, I'm sure I do I'm sure we all do. And, there's nothing wrong with that. But the whole thing through all of this stuff is becoming more aware of ourselves. Noticing, well, is that how I want to behave? Is that what I want to do? Do I want to act like that? Do I want to be like this? Do I want to be dismissive? Do I want to be a people pleaser? Do I want to be toxic in any way? Like, it's all things to notice, and and I feel like, when people, they could treat their kids one way and then treat their friends a different way because they're trying to be accepted. And there's a part, especially I think for a lot of older people, that their kid is a reflection of them. And, me going around with a bunch of tattoos and I've always been edgy. I've always been, strange. And, I'm sure to her where she's trying to just fit in and everybody thinks she's so wonderful that, like, oh, well, but look at her daughter. Like, they feel that reflection. Like, oh my God. So how can people think I did a good job when I got this daughter that looks like this? And, my child does this. And, so I'm sure that feeds that doubt to themselves. And so then that irritates them. Like, like there's a reflection that happens that, man, I can see it, but it's like a reflection that happens with the parent who's not healed when they look at their child and then they reflect back to them what they've done wrong, everything that's wrong with them. They see their child and it's highlighted. Oh, that's wrong with them. That's wrong with them. That's wrong with them. Oh my God. It's me. I'm a horrible person. I couldn't even make a good child. So they think so they're defensive of things. They feel bad about things. But then they don't. It's like they put up a hardened wall or something, or I don't know. Everything is very toxic. There's just so much toxic interaction. And I just know it can become better. It can all become better when we stop, when we slow down, when we get out of autopilot, when we start being reflective, when we think about how we treat others, and when we try and bring something positive to the table. When somebody's in a crisis, trying to say something good, something positive, uplifting, be more of a problem solver, not just like, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it good enough. You're never good enough. It's like, oh my God. So anyways, let's just all think about, how we treat other people and always treat others how we want to be treated. And, but we got to work out of our wounds. We got to work out of our damaged emotional bodies and work towards, feeling good, putting good energy out into the world and being, positive and loving. But that's the direction we're headed. And that's why, this stuff is coming up. It's because, we need to be doing it. To me, it's the only way forward. It's the only way. Otherwise, you end with this, you don't end, you don't really end, but your character that you're created, you can carry them forward into the age of Aquarius, or that character can end with this storyline, and then you go back into a different storyline and pick up the pieces. But to carry on the character that you're creating, and you know, there's a lot of people who are overwhelmed by the healing stuff. I'm already seeing it, and you know, it's you know, and we've got years of this ahead of us. And you know, I'm like I said before, if you've not been around anybody yet in a crisis who is at the reached rock bottom, then prepare yourself, because this is about to be in mass. You're gonna know a lot of people. You're gonna be talking people off the ledge all day long. It's like, hang up, oh, another one, oh, another one. It's like, oh my God. And I know, you know, I mean, there was a reason why some of us woke up and did our healing first. And it's like, oh my God. So now we just can, it's very draining. It's very draining. And that's why I think, well, we were learning how to learn to take care of ourselves. Like, I needed that day out of the house to go and, you know, re-energize, to just get back to my energy. And so, you know, and some people can be like, going out in nature, get out of your house from the other people, go out in nature, walk around. Well, I live in nature, I'm always out walking around. But to just go further out, to go out and do something and be alone and stuff, and recharge, regenerate myself. And so you just got to notice the things you need, and you know, just becoming more aware. But all of those things that we've been working on and learning, there's going to be a point to it. There's going to be a reason. Because, you know, just wait till you're just like got 2 or 3 people in fucking crisis, and it's like, and there's going to be a big crisis. Like, I don't know. I mean, I really, to me right now, I would say I don't think my mom can get over the religious thing. I think she's going to feel like that everybody's lying about it, that they're just trying, and they've got that loophole in the story too, that there would be a time when they will come and they will say this, and it will be lies. You've got to stick with Jesus. And it's like, I think she's gonna, you know, I think she's gonna keep thinking, no, this is the devil. This is, you know, she's gonna be very confused, but she's not gonna be able to let go of that, I don't think. I think there'll be a lot of religious people. I think the medical will hit the people the hardest. And I think the bank is going to hit some people the hardest, because there's some people who have a lot of money in there. But it's like, you know, you got to invest. You got to invest in real things, not into the, you know, their weird laundry system. And, but the medical's going to hit people the hardest, because that created the most loss. But the religion has so much mind control. That's where I think there's going to be people who I don't think are going to be able to let go of it. And then with the governing thing, that's going to cause a lot of chaos, because a lot of people need to be told what to do. They don't know what to do unless someone's telling them. So we're going to see a lot. I mean, this is going to be shatter. And you got to think of this micro, macro. It's going to be like fucking explosive on some of this shit because of people's reaction. And this is an opportunity for the people to grow past it, through it, around it, change, become different, to evolve. So anyways, you know, hopefully I said something that helps somebody a bit, just in all these relationships, because I know, you know, people are not being able to control their moods and stuff right now. And so when you have people lash out at you and just show hatefulness towards you and stuff like that, just remember to take care of yourself. You know, this is a weird time on the planet. It's very intense and people are struggling. So just keep taking care of yourself and don't get caught up in the drama. Don't get caught up in other people's bullshit. Let them resolve it for themselves. Let them say their shitty things and let them feel the pain of that later, because they will. When this thing turns around, you're going to see a lot of people are going to feel a lot of pain, and you can't buffer it. And the smell of these farts right now is I'm being fumigated out of here. It's time to go. I'll talk to you later. Bye.